Hi, my name is Effie Davies. I'm an International Artistic Director for Tony Guy London and LABEL.M International. The editorial look that I created for our Lexicon collection, it's called the Pony Twist. It's an editorial take on a ponytail that combines two structures yet very different techniques to achieve a slick and polished finish. Very nice and tidy throughout the sides, and throughout the back you have the softness and the feminine element that is finished with a beautiful gold accessory. The inspiration behind the pony twist came straight for the catwalk. It was from the Spring-Summer 14 Yonkun Sheen, where every single model had beautiful twisted rolls, very tight on the head. And then I worked with a combination from Autumn-Winter 14-15 for the show I did for Marina Hoermansida, and it had beautiful height and texture throughout the front, yet it was quite tight throughout the side. In order to achieve the look, I had to prepare the hair with quite a bit of volumous. So I took horizontal sections and sprayed the volumous, brushed it through and then blast dried using the hair wrap brush. I did exactly the same throughout the hair, and then I finished it off by brushing the hair against the natural fall, especially around the sides where I knew how I was going to finish the look. The look was finished very tight and away from the head, so it was very important for me to prepare the hair the way I was going to finish it. I took a profile parting in order to separate the hair on two even sections, and then I moved on to a triangle section from the occipital bone to the corners of the nape. That section was placed into a ponytail using the bungee and then the LABEL.M hairspray to fix in place. I used the triangle section from high recession to in front of the crown, where I knew where the height was going to take place. With the hair that I had left, I took 1.5 inch section on either side and I braided throughout. In order to achieve a beautiful clean braid throughout, it's very important to go very tight on the scalp. The products that you're going to use they're very vital for the finished look. I used the texture wax stick because I really wanted to achieve a very polished finish, but again, when I actually pull the hair between my thumb and my index, if it's a little bit messy or if I actually have created a loop while pulling the hair, the wax stick will allow me to drag the hair into place back again, so it's very malleable when it comes to creating braids and especially reverse scalp braiding. I wrapped the braid on itself and then I secured with pins and grips. The reason I did this was to create a base in order for my roll to sit on. I back brush a little bit the roots and then I drag and brush the hair towards my body. From there, standing on the opposite side, all I did is I secured with my palm the whole side and I gave it a little twist. And as soon as I did this, all I had to do was pin it and I knew it was going to stay there. When rolling the sides, you really have to make sure that you blend in the ponytail with the actual side. You shouldn't have any separation throughout this look, so you have to be very careful and keep using the LABEL.M hairspray in order to blend those partings together. Nothing should distract to the eye. I did exactly on the opposite side and I secured the ends with grips just to make sure that the look is not going to come undone. I finished off the sides that blended with the back ponytail. Now I had to move on to the front section, and that's where the height was coming in. All I did was to back brush the roots throughout the front section. Visually, I used the Session Editorial brush, brushed everything away from the face. It is very important to have the balance and the speed when it comes to creating those looks, especially if you're backstage. So by doing this technique is guarantee that you're going to have two beautiful and even sides, and then obviously you can really play with the height and the volume. And then with the tongs and the actual heat, I started molding it beautifully into a nice square shape. From there, I had to make sure that the whole look was very seamless, especially throughout the back. And then on my last section, I used the LABEL.M large tongs in order to create a little bit of a kink, a little bit of movement. From there, I had to make sure that the whole look was very, very seamless, especially throughout the back. And the way I actually achieved that was to use the straightening irons and the LABEL.M Shine Mist. My final step would be to use a beautiful accessory. In this case, I used a gold flat clip that I actually clipped first and then I went on to securing it. The finished product was quite a bit of hairspray, especially throughout the side. It's very important when you work with clean and tight shapes for everything to be very, very polished. My finishing touch was the frizz control serum throughout the ends. My advice to any young hairdresser that wanted to be into the session editorial world was to never stop practicing. Practice is key and you never ever stop learning. Make sure you walk before you run. Just go back to your classic techniques, from your rolls into your braiding, into the textures that you can create with a hair, because you learn the rules and then that will allow you to actually break the rules, and that's how you actually create an editorial look. Education is very vital in this industry, and as hairdressers, we should never stop learning. It is so important to keep ahead of trends and techniques so you can actually deliver to the best service when it comes to the client and of course beyond. Like I always say, when you know better, you do better.